And now, 2 weeks ago now, I interviewed you, didn't I, Andy, about Pure 24/7 Radio. No. I'll be honest, I can't really remember the questions I asked you. I know that I asked how Pure 24/7 Radio came about, what kind of got it all started, and asked lots of what was going on. So I'm going to ask you some questions. There may be some overlap, but I think it's still going to be very, very different because it's a new day and new ideas, and we've got the window open, or the door open, so the cool air's coming in. So, what is your vision for Pure 24/7 Radio, Andy B?
You're just going to jump straight in, aren't you? What's my vision for the radio station? Well, can I first of all just actually go to the vision statement? That we actually do have a vision for that. You can't really start a global media organization where you want to reach people around the world without having a clue about what you want to do.
There's a scripture, isn't there? Without vision, the people perish, or something.
That sounds...
It's a bit drastic.
Pretty good. So let me just... I wasn't going to do this, but I'll read it out. This is our vision, because we have a vision about what we're trying to achieve, as you may assume. A lot of people who find out about us think, he must have been around for years and years and years. No, we just do things to a high standard. Our vision is to grow and develop a thriving online 24/7 radio station and compassionate global family, which exists to build up, entertain, and encourage people wherever they are in the world, for free, for all, with music that is free of bad language and does not promote anything illegal or immoral. Now, that's the statement that we make. It's been carefully crafted. We spent ages trying to make sure it was all right. How would I put that into simple English? Really good music and DJs, great chat, and a safe place to be, but not safe like boring. Safe as in you can be confident that if you're going to tune in, there's not going to be stuff on there you're not going to want to listen to. Over the years, I've listened to various radio stations, and there's some really good stuff out there. But every so often, they'll talk about something or advertise something, or they'll play a song, and all I can think of is, I really don't want to have to know that. I don't want to have to listen to that. That's actually not very nice. I don't mean it's not very good music or it's not my personal taste. Totally different. I mean, every so often you hear music and you think, do I really need to be listening to that? And the one that really, really bugs me is when they play a piece of music that's really loads of bad language in it. But rather than just not play it, they just play the piece of music with all the beeps instead. And that's quite often, that's when I just don't bother listening for days or weeks to that station. Because as a trucker, I used to listen to radio an awful lot. CDs only get you so far, or cassette tapes back in the day. And that's the kind of thing that really grates for me, because that's not what the artist intended. Not that I think they should be playing the bad language version, but actually it's really irritating to hear beep after beep after beep, because it's not the tune, it's not the music. And as a musician, that annoys me. So why can't people make stuff that's actually good to start with? So my vision is a safe place, but not safe boring. Safe, it's a place that you know is going to be okay. You know, it's like the village pub or the village post office. It's a safe place. You go there for a purpose. You've got things to get done, but you're not going to walk in and think, oh, well, what's going to happen? Can I be here? Is it, I remember years ago going into a pub for a drink in the summer, and locals only, get out. Actually, it's a bit stronger than that.
Wow.
Go away. This pub's only for the locals. Now, the slightly foolish landlord had a pub in the middle of one of the most busy touristy areas in the world. So what did you think was going to happen? And they're getting really irritated by people coming in for drinks in a tourist area. It's that kind of thing. That's not a safe place to go to.
No.
But that's what we really want. It's somewhere that's pure, hence the name.
It makes me think about, we have light parties to get us through the 31st of October. It's that safe place. Not everybody wants to be scared or frightened or worried at that particular time. And so I think of Pure 24/7 Radio as the kind of the alternative, that safe place, but but definitely not boring. Because if you ever go to any of our light parties, they are very exciting, aren't they?
Oh, they make you move.
Right, fantastic. That's amazing. So my next question, and I know we've touched on it in the previous interview, but why the 3-point pure?
We didn't start with that, actually. We knew we wanted to be really careful and clear on what music we played. Initially, it was basically my music collection for the most part, with other people in part of the Berry Bunch, and it's what can we do, what have we got? And then that 3-point thing became more and more of a thing on its own rather than something that we're working towards. So 3 Point Pure means there's no bad language and we don't promote anything that's illegal or immoral. Now, you might say, well, whose standards? Well, to be honest, mine. It's that simple. It's my say at the end of it all. It's me on the paperwork and all the rest of it. So it's down to me. I work with Stephen, our operations manager, and we literally would go through a piece of music. We check every single lyric, every single line, word, by sentence, by stanza. And then we actually think, is this pure? Is it free of any explicit language? Okay, that's one big tick. And then we make sure there's nothing immoral or illegal. And a lot of songs, more than you might think, there's something unethical, like, oh yeah, it's really good fun to kill people. Well, no, that's not okay. Or it might be about, I don't know, sleeping around and how much fun that is. And well, that's not good. That's not healthy for a good society. So you may disagree and think those things are absolutely fine. However, this is my show. So this is why we've done what we've done. And what I love is when I talk to somebody, they say, well, can you tell us what your station's about? I was like, look, we're an alternative. We're an alternative. All radio stations are alternatives. Okay. There is no one station. There are loads of radio stations, all with different genres and different purposes. Some are playing heavy metal music. Some are playing classical music. Some are very commercially driven. Some are very much pure donation driven. And anything in between that, there exists a radio station. But I wanted something that was different, that was a genuine alternative. And I look around the UK in particular where we're based. Although we're UK-based, we are global heart, which means we're constantly thinking that we're not just playing to a UK audience, and we don't. We've got people repeatedly listening in 10 nations. We've had 25 nations, tuning in.
Yeah.
So I just wanted a place that was a real option, a real alternative. If you look at politics, right, you look at American politics right now, you've got the whole next major election in the US coming up. And you listen to a lot of the voters in the States at the moment, or political commentaries, and then everyone says, yeah, but what do they stand for? We got a general election in the UK coming not very far away. Yay. And actually, it's very hard to know what any of the top politicians stand for anymore, because they've sort of become this mashed version of themselves where they either go the opposite to what the person is in power is saying because they want to be different even though they don't believe it. And then people are saying, and there was a BBC documentary program recently, and everyone's saying, I don't know who to vote for. They're all the same. What's the difference? What do they actually believe in? What do they actually stand for? And if we don't stand for something, then how do we stand out? And that's why I know now, it's quite encouraging and reassuring that people really are loving us. We are genuinely a good alternative to some of the stations that call themselves Christians and some that don't.
Yeah.
And we are genuinely an alternative to those. We don't play just Christian music. We don't just play non-Christian music. We play music. That's it. We don't differentiate. So I don't mind about the lifestyle of somebody who's singing. I just want the song to be good.
Yeah.
And it's about the music, and that's what we're about. It's not about attitude. It's not about making a point. It's about the music. Is it good music? Great, we'll play it.
It's really interesting how you say that the 3 Point sort of developed, the 3 Point Pure kind of system developed. But actually it defines you, doesn't it? It kind of gives you that, so people can look to you and go and know exactly what's standard and exactly what's going to happen with Pure 24/7 radio. And I was thinking, a lot of people think, right, actually, if you put a child in a room, would you say that? And sometimes people have a marker, don't they, of a sort of a child-friendly thing. And what I like about Pure 24/7 radio, it's saying, actually, it doesn't matter how old or young you are. If you don't want to hear swearing, if you don't want to be subjected to that, come to our station, because it's clean, it's safe, it's good. A lot of the certs for films are 12 and 18, and it's to do with the language, isn't it? And some of the adult material. But you know what? I don't want to see that adult. I don't want to see that adult material. I don't want to hear that swearing, and I'm not a child. So I love that about Pure 24/7 radio. You're doing it for everyone, 0 to 90, 0 to 100, whatever.
I was chatting with Paul Gibbs from the Pace Movement, and I'm struggling to. This is like way before we were just really brand new.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with, how do we tell people who we are and what we are? We need like taglines and all this. Just look, Andy, you're called Pure Radio. Right there from the outset, I know exactly what you are. You don't have to say you're child-friendly or not child-friendly. You don't have to say that you use the word pure. That's it. You've already stated in one word. And of course, we're part of the Pure Media family. So everything under the Pure Media family has to be pure, including Pure Radio. It's just one branch of the things that I'm involved in. And puremediafamily.com, that that kind of encapsulates everything. That's the umbrella organization, if you like, for all sorts, including my own website, including berrybunch.org, including pure247radio.org, because we wanted something that was different, and we definitely stand out. Because I was chatting to a lady from Florida a few days ago, and she said, "Tell me about your radio station." This is in a Zoom call, and I told her, she's like, "Wow, I've never encountered that. That's so different. That's so exciting. That's so refreshing." And that's what we are. We are refreshing, and we are different, and we are something that people want, that there has not been an alternative for, that they can find or that we can find until now.
Fantastic. Well, I don't know where to go from there. What are your future plans, Andy?
My future plans
for the station?
Oh, okay. I think about talking about dinner for later. My plans. So it's kind of, there's lots going on at the same time. I don't want to bore you with lots of information, but we've got a brand new show starting next week with the Pace Movement. That's one radio show that we've been working on for a while. That's going to bring you voices from around the world. It's called Life on Mission, powered by Pace, because Pace are a global missions movement, and it's really exciting to see where that's going to go. We've already got people like Callan J, J. John, who does a podcast. Steve Legg does a podcast. Gordon T from Hope FM do a podcast. That's on our lunchtime show. So it's great that we've got these different voices who are providing material for us to use on the radio station. And of course, it's always going to be pure, which is the whole point. The breakfast show, for example, another daytime show here in the UK, at least. We've got the breakfast bites. We've got other voices who are sort of queuing up, in a sense, behind that for us to start bringing in. So that'll be more voices. And I guess that's part of it, is it's lots and lots of voices. I was quite surprised when I realised we're doing nearly 70 hours a week of original broadcasting by, the end of October, November, which, considering we're tiny, that's more than quite a lot of very established radio stations up and down the country who aren't huge, because we've got such a great committee team. And I think, again, it's refreshing, it's transparent. We like to say, look, this is who we are, this is what's going on, this is our setup, these are the costs involved. We like transparency, we like authenticity, and so we bring what we prefer as people into what we do. So everything about Pure Radio is nice and easy and honestly obvious.
Fantastic. Do you know what? I could talk to you for a long time, and I've got lots more questions, but I wonder if we should take a break. Andy B is the CEO of Pure 24/7 Radio. And before I ask my first question, I wanted to ask you this. It says on the website and on air, this station, Pure 24/7 Radio, is a listener-supported station. Could you tell me what that means?
Yes.
Go on then.
Oh, okay. So it means that we're supported by the listeners. There are various ways you could set up. We're not pure commercial. So although we're quite happy to advertise for stuff, we get to say whether we want it or not. Adverts have to be pure as well. So we're not a pure commercial-driven station, although we need money to pay for all the bills. You can find out about the costs on the website, by the way. Just go to the About Us pages, and there's a whole thing about costs. So we're not commercially driven. We're not a community station either, which means that we're not just relying upon grants and donations, but we are listener supported. And that means that we need listeners to support us financially for what we do. So really, it's about you guys need to have ownership of what we're doing. We've created this, we've done this thing. People are saying, yeah, it's fantastic. We've got a board of trustees saying, yeah, it's all good. But it only exists if we pay the bills. So we have to pay for the software that enables us to broadcast. We have to pay for licenses. We have to pay for all sorts of things, actually, websites and all sorts of things. There's a virtual machine where the radio station sits. So there's all these different costs that we have. And it adds up to about £500 a month, month in, month out, averaged across a year. It's not quite that simple. Like, we're paying for one of our licenses over 3 months for the year. Another one we pay every 6 months or 12 months, and some things are monthly. So hence it's average. It's about £500 a year. That's what it costs us just to basically keep the lights on. There's no development, there's no advertising, no research. I mean, there are stuff that we need to do. So that's about £500. So we rely on people's donations. There's no way that we, when we started this, me personally, I couldn't afford to keep on paying for this month after month, not at £500. So we need people to step in. And it's not just about, can you pay for what we're doing? It's about this global encouragement. I know when I approached Pace Movement in August and said, would you like to join up with us with this? Let's do something together for the radio show. they got very excited because it's good to have distribution partners, and that's exactly what we are. So whatever you're doing, whatever your ministry might be, we may well be in a really good distribution partner because we can push things out for you, which you couldn't physically do. So let me give you a quick example, which is kind of in the news at the moment. We all know that if we use Facebook, we put something on Facebook, there's no guarantee that the people who want to see what we want them to see is what they will actually see, because there's an algorithm that says, nah, I don't want you to see that. I want you to see adverts instead. And the problem with Facebook as a distribution network for your advertising, for example, is that you are completely at the mercy of whether Facebook algorithm wants people to see your things or not. Whereas we don't have that particular issue because we're not Facebook. We're on Facebook. Yes, we are. It's a great tool. However, we are, one of the things that's actually struck me is we are really, really good at being a distribution network, because that is exactly what we are. A distribution network for positivity, for encouragement, for whatever message that needs to be got out there. So that's why we exist as we are. That's why we're not commercially driven. Otherwise, you'd have to say yes to every single advert that comes in. That would be bad for us. It's not a bad model, by the way. It just wouldn't fit what we're doing. It would be bad for how we operate, which is being pure, because then you'd have no choice but to say, yes, we'll advertise that product, which would not be good, because if it wasn't pure, we still have to do it. So we have to be a bit picky and fussy so that it stays within that 3-point pure. So not only the music has to be 3-point pure, but any advertising has to be as well.
Oh,
that goes for sponsors too.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. So listener supported. It's probably why, because you're the CEO, you have to think about these things, don't you? So, listener supported is literally, as it says on the tin, listeners to support. So my next question would be, how can people help?
There are some really, really simple ways of support. The obvious one is finances. We'll come back to that one. The simplest thing is, if you are listening to one of our presenters and you're really enjoying what they're doing and you've got social media, just give us a like, give us a comment. Get involved. That's really encouraging from our perspective. We don't need loads of those, by the way, for it to make a world of difference. We are a radio station, so you don't have to get involved. But how you can support us the most is if you see one of our posts and you like it, you hit the like button. It's really encouraging for us. It also means that we've got a better chance of being seen by other people, just because you like or comment. The other thing you can do is share the radio station with other people. If you're enjoying what we do or you like the idea of it, then let people know about us. Now, we're still quite young. This is sixth month. I can never say it. It's our 6th month, or it's month 6. Hey, did it? So we're still quite new. There's some really great possibilities that have opened up for us in the coming years. So you'll see us in various places. But yeah, let people know about us. That's the most important thing. Second thing you can do is to tune in and just enjoy what we create. That's the whole point, really. None of these are more important than another. They're in no particular order. But yeah, if you enjoy it, then we're winning. We're happy. We get the other comment from people saying, I was having a bit of a down moment. I thought, what can I do? I just want something safe that I know is going to be uplifting, encouraging. So I thought, I'll tune into Pure 24/7 Radio. And a particular song was playing, or a particular presenter was saying something encouraging, and that person has had their day brightened and they feel uplifted and encouraged. That's what we live for. That's the real core of what we do. So you can listen to us and enjoy. You can get involved, let people know about us, share us with other people. Someone said the other day, am I allowed to share your radio station on my social media channels? Yes, please. There's no reason why you can't. Absolutely. And then you can pray for us. That's important, because what we're trying to do is create a good environment, and we do believe in the power of prayer. So if you can pray for us, that'd be fantastic. For energy, for motivation, for health, that's always good. And then you can support us financially. We are listener supported, which means we need money to come through in order to pay for what we're doing. We've got a few people who've been paying for it out of their own pocket, but they can't sustain it forever, and we want this to keep growing. So if you enjoy it, if you believe in it, whether you listen to it or not, you can support us financially. You can do that on the website, by the way. It's nice and secure. You can stay within our website. It's all done nice and securely for you, handled by the people that we pay for our website. So if you go to the website, pure247radio.org, pure247radio.org, hit the donate tab, and you can donate. Down there. It's fairly straightforward and simple. It's explanatory, and it's safe, and you can do that from wherever you are in the world. If you can give us a one-off payment, that'd be fantastic. If you can set up a monthly payment, even if it's £5 or £10, it really helps to have monthly rather than one-off. One-offs are brilliant, but there's a there's a sort of safety feeling when we know it's going to come in every month.
Fantastic. So lots of way people can help. First, or most importantly, is to listen to the radio. We love it when you join us and listen and hear what we've got to say, because we've got some great shows, great presenters, and great information. We've got doctors, we've got specialists, we've got amazing people, haven't we, really? And so that's fantastic. People can listen in and people can tell. It's word of mouth is great, isn't it? Or word of likes, isn't it? So likes, I always forget to do that, actually. And I think that's really important. Just that one little movement can make a big difference, and sharing and telling people about what we do is fantastic. And of course, prayer. And then, of course, you can go very easily onto the website and donate. Fantastic. So lots of ways in which people can help. Can I ask you, Andy, why would people want to invest in Pure 24/7 Radio?
Well, it's a really simple reason. If you actually enjoy listening to a really good wide range of music. I mean, what have we had? Let me just flick through it. Brian Ferry, Michael Jackson, Spice Girls, Stephanie Gretzinger, David Bowie, Skillet, Rebecca St. James, Fatboy Slim. If you have an enjoyment of music as wide as ours is, but you really want to listen to it without bad language, or you really especially value that people can listen to music and it's actually going to be something you are safe to listen to. If you've got grandchildren coming around, you want good music, but you don't want to have to keep thinking, oh, that's a bit dodgy. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Then that's a really good investment reason, because actually what you're doing is providing money into what we're doing so that we can actually provide enjoyment for others. So really, if you're investing into us, what you're doing is providing for other people as well. And you're safeguarding the whole idea of a music-heavy radio station that is deliberately designed and set up to encourage other people, especially through the use of music that's clean and safe to listen to.
Fantastic. What a great response.
Oh, cool.
I thought I might have thrown you on that one. That was quite a tough one, I thought. Well done. Brilliant. If you believe in the station, you believe in the Pure 3 points, then that's a really good reason to invest in such a great station, isn't it? A station that is needed out there, isn't there, in this impure world, in this shady world, in this dark world.
There's an awful lot of radio stations out there. We're not in competition with anybody. That's why we had Hope FM, Gordon T on, because we're not in competition. That's not what we're here for. What we are trying to do is give a genuinely positive alternative, which does not exist currently, because you don't know what tunes are going to come on. Even the Right Motivation Heart, they're not vetting their music like we do, and literally we have 3,500 tracks now. We've actually got nearly 4,800, but only about 1,500 of those are unsuitable, so they don't get played ever. They're not on the system. That leads us to about 3,300. So we've spent the time and the effort for you, so that if you're listening to the station, it's okay. A friend of ours from the States, David, he doesn't often listen to radio because he doesn't often get a lot of time. If he does, he doesn't want stuff with words. He just wants music. So we're not great for that. But one day he thought, I suppose I could listen to Pure. Oh, no, it's fine, he said. I knew it was going to be safe. So he plugged into us and he loved the song. He's like, I like that song. And all of a sudden it's brightened his day because he knew that it was okay to plug into what we're doing because he can guarantee that the music's good. Yeah. That's what we do.
That's the point. Fantastic. I've got a couple more questions for you. I was just thinking about, I think one of the major charities, one of the things they do in order to get people to, donate, to get invest in their organisation is kind of give you, like, you could buy a cow or you can buy this, or you have items that you buy. And I know we've had that on Pure 24/7 Radio. You could buy a coffee for a presenter or something like that.
Not a cow, though. We don't sell cows.
We don't need cows. Don't send us cows. Please don't send us cows. But what does the station actually need at this time? Or will need in the future?
What does it need? We need the ability to function without worrying about whether we can function. I know that sounds like a bit of a round argument, but it's costing us roughly £500 a month. To know that that's coming in would make a huge difference to us, to be relaxed and relieved to do other things. Relieved as in set free of having to constantly think how we're going to pay for this and that. So we are new. There are lots of places that people can give money. We think we're a little different. And actually what's encouraging is people who we talk to, when they find out about us, we have a conversation, say, wow, you guys are different. Oh, this is exciting. This is refreshing. This is not, I've never known this before. And that's what I like. So what are our needs? Yeah, we've got festivals coming up this year. So, for example, we've been invited to attend one of the biggest ones, which is really exciting, but we've got to pay for that as well. Although we've got some things to help us get in, we still need to pay for a tent. We still need to pay for the fuel to get there. That's people's time whilst they're on site. We need to pay for leaflets. I think this is probably one of the greatest ways of us meeting people is festivals, music festivals or conferences. But we still have to provide leaflets. That means we have to pay for flyers. Kingdom Print, who do all of our merchandise and printing, they're superb. We still have to pay them. That's only right and fair.
Yeah.
But we have to buy leaflets, and that costs money. So there's a whole range of stuff. But really, what are the needs right now? It's getting some of the basic costs of simply keeping the lights on covered. So with longer term, we can start thinking about other things that we want to be doing.
So like the licenses and the equipment, because you've got all the equipment, but you'll always need to be updating, upgrading, keeping that going, as it were, like keeping the lights on, like you say.
Yeah, I mean, the licenses is like £1,000 a year for 2 licenses. That enables us to broadcast around the world. Broadcast in the UK, it means that people can get the money that they're supposed to, which is only fair and right. So that's one of the things that we have to pay for. We're paying for that at the moment for one of those. It's about £300 a month, thereabouts. And pay that for the next 3 months, and that'll be us for another year. For one of the licenses, there's another license that has to be paid behind that, which is a few £100s a year. So, any monies that come in, there's always immediate urgent needs. Urgent, not as in it's desperately bad if we don't get money. I mean, urgent as in it's like it's being paid now.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by urgent. So things like paying for the website, paying for the software, paying for the licenses, those are all kind of what I would call urgent needs. If we don't pay for those, we don't exist.
Everybody needs stationery as well, don't they?
Yeah.
You've got office work to do, and
we're
Post-its, and
we have to print things on occasion. So every morning we print out bits and pieces for the day because you don't want to rely upon a digital device. It's much easier to have a piece of paper. So there's pieces of paper. We have to.
We do recycle, reuse, and what's the other one?
However, a piece of paper gets used more than once.
That's good. That is brilliant. Yeah. So absolutely, and you will keep us up to date on the website if there were specific needs, weren't there?
Yeah.
Coming up. But what I really like about Pure 24/7 Radio, you do reuse stuff. So you've just recently bought some chairs, haven't you? When they were secondhand, they were free. You not go around buying extravagant things, but you actually try to, use the money wisely.
Yeah, and it's not about just penny pinching or being stingy. Sometimes it'll be a waste of money to spend money. So someone's chucking out 2 perfectly good chairs, absolutely fit perfectly what we need. Why are we going to go out and spend several £100s on chairs when we don't need to? When there's 2 perfectly functional ones, okay, there's a bit of fabric missing. So it's not about being stingy or penny pinching. You can go down that road. That's a bit of a depressing way of living. But sometimes you don't need to spend money for what you need. If you look around, you can repurpose all sorts of stuff.
There's something satisfactory in that, isn't there?
It's very satisfying.
It's when you get a bargain as well.
Yeah, what's my favourite? Price is free.
Yeah. So I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
Andy B, CEO of Pure 24/7 Radio. What can we pray for Pure 24/7 Radio?
Ooh, I would say if you wanted to pray for something at the moment, it would be the ability for us to get to festivals this year. I think that would be one of the things that we are really wanting to do. We need people power. So just praying for that, praying for the safety, praying for the doors to open. When people find out about us, they always do the same thing. It's always, wow, that's so refreshing. I've never known a radio station that does that. That's really exciting. Ooh, tell me more. How can I let my friends know about you? That's a normal conversation for me. And that's really exciting. So when we're approached by a TV station to do an interview, which should be coming out later this month, I think, they found out about us, asked a few questions, and it is exactly that same conversation. Wow, this is really exciting, really fresh. No one in the UK is doing anything remotely like this. So we had an interview. So that was really cool. So that's the thing, really. It's just praying for doors to open. We are new. We are small. We're not, a massive global company with loads of millions of pounds behind us. We are a bunch of people who had a really good idea that we tested and ran with, and that when people hear about it, get very excited about, increasingly so. Therefore, what can you pray for? Pray for health. Pray for doors to open for the festivals. Pray for all the financing that we need for those festivals. I've guessed that a festival costs us roughly about £2,000. That includes us getting in, paying for a trade stand, paying for some flyers, paying for hotels, paying for food, paying for travel. The whole cost, it's about £2,000 a festival. And you might think, well, I ain't got £2,000. Great, that's fine. Have you got £200? Maybe that's too much. £20? Great, we can use it. Every penny's going to get used because we're not throwing it away on, superfluous items, because there are no superfluous items. We work from home. We don't have an office. So we have, I think, if you wanted to look at it one way, we've got like 4 satellite offices now where we can broadcast from, plus a laptop and a microphone. So there's loads of ways. So we're doing what we can, but if we all pitch together, if you've got 10 grand to give us, fantastic. That pays up for us for 5 festivals for the next 12 months. But if you've only got 100 quid, great. That's just covered the fuel to a festival.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we look at problems and think, oh, it's a massive mountainous problem. But I've always been taught to look at what it's called small gap theory. It's got different names. But basically, rather than trying to find all the things you need, or if you find everything you have got, then what's left?
Yeah.
Gap analysis. And that gap analysis, it's amazing what a little bit of money here and there can suddenly do.
So prayer request then is festivals, monies to keep going, and also I suppose the festivals you were saying about leaflets and everything that encompasses that. And that is going to be sort of April, May, June, the sort of festivals over the summertime. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Possibly further on into the year as well. But yeah, so lots to pray for, lots to think about, lots of ways of joining Pure 24/7 Radio, the family, to do something great, to do something really different and good in this world.
We're not all called to lead. We're not all called to support. Some are called to lead, some are called to support. So if you're not called to set up a radio station, then maybe you can support one and actually get behind somebody. And I think that's something we can all do, is get behind someone, whether it's an encouraging word, letting people know. We've got some friends who don't listen to radio basically ever. If they're in the car, it's time for silence because of the jobs they have, and that's fine. But they're still really encouraging and supportive, saying, we love what you're doing, keep going, even if we're not necessarily going to listen to you because we don't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. Radio isn't for everybody. But the message of hope is.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Fantastic. What a great way to end this interview. So thank you, Andy B, for answering all those difficult questions. Well, I thought they were difficult. And so hopefully we'll hear more. Maybe I'll interview again in 6 months or 12 months and see how the station is doing.